Hi everyone. Okay, we're into the M's now as I go through my entire DVD collection. This is video number 12. There is a playlist on my channel as well. You can follow along that way. Here we go. From Hammer Studios, this is a racing drama, Mask of Dust, and this actually features actual racing drivers including Sterling Moss and Reg Parnell. Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master with Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix. One of Russell Crowe's best performances in Peter Weir's Master and Commander. Diane Cannon and Harry Hamlin in a limited series, this one. This is Sidney Sheldon's Master of the Game. Kirk Douglas and Juliana Gemma in this bonkers Italian thriller. Kirk Douglas is a safecracker. This features an absolutely phenomenal car chase. Dolph Lundgren in Masters of the Universe. Pierce Brosnan and Greg Kinnear in The Matador. Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers in Woody Allen's Match Point. Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. The Matrix Reloaded. And The Matrix Revolutions. Stephen King did the direction on this one as well. This is Maximum Overdrive with Emilio Estevez. Stephen Yeun and Samara Weaving in Mayhem. Alan Ladd and June Allison in jet pilot drama The McConnell Story. And directed by John Sturgis, this is John Wayne in McHugh. Zac Efron in Me and Orson Welles. A good one this from Miranda July, this is Me and You and Everyone We Know. Lindsay Lohan in Mean Girls. And Bill Murray in Meatballs, directed by Ivan Reitman. Charles Bronson in The Mechanic, directed by Michael Winner. This was also remade with Jason Statham. And Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins in the romantic Meet Joe Black. Gary Cooper and Barbara Stanwyck in Meet John Doe, directed by Frank Capra. And classic Judy Garland musical Meet Me in St. Louis. Adapted from a Francis Durbridge novel, this is Peter Barkworth in Melissa, and Guy Pearce in Christopher Nolan's Memento. Zhang Ziyi in Memoirs of a Geisha, directed by Rob Marshall, and directed by the Hughes brothers, this is Menace to Society. Before he did The Raid, this is Gareth Evans' Marantau with Iko Uwais. And Mila Jovovich as Joan of Arc in The Messenger, directed by Luc Besson. Based on the novel by Julian Barnes, this is Emily Watson and Christian Bale in Metroland. A classic piece of science fiction from Fritz Lang, 1927, Metropolis. Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx in Michael Mann's Miami Vice, taking a different approach to his excellent 80s series with Don Johnson. George Clooney and Tom Wilkinson in the excellent Michael Clayton. And Liam Neeson as Michael Collins, directed by Neil Jordan. From director Jean-Pierre Jeunet, this is Micmacs. And this is the Oscar-winning Midnight Cowboy, directed by John Schlesinger, with John Voight and Dustin Hoffman as Ratso Rizzo. Must admit, wasn't keen on this one, directed by Clint Eastwood. This is Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. And Doris Day is stalked in the chiller Midnight Lace. Directed by Peter Hall, this is the 1968 adaptation of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Whilst Woody Allen focuses on sex in A Midsummer Night's Sex Comedy. Charlize Theron and Bill Paxton in Mighty Joe Young, directed by Ron Underwood. And possibly an underappreciated film, this one. It's The Milagro Beanfield War, directed by Robert Redford and starring Ruben Blades. Directed by Fernando Di Leo, this is Milan Caliber 9. And directed by Umberto Lenzi, this is Milano Rovente, Gang War in Milan. Kristen Scott Thomas and Sharon Horgan in Military Wives. A really good performance from Sean Penn as Harvey Milk in Milk, directed by Gus Van Sant. Excellent movie from the Coen brothers, the gangster film Miller's Crossing with Gabriel Byrne and Albert Finney. And John Hamm in Disney's $1 Million Arm. Oscar-winning movie from Clint Eastwood, $1 Million Baby with Hilary Swank. And yeah, quite a fun spoof western from Seth MacFarlane, A Million Ways to Die in the West, also featuring Liam Neeson and Charlize Theron. From director Danny Boyle, this is quite a fun one, Millions. And directed by Franco Giraldi, this is a western starring Alex Cord and Arthur Kennedy, A Minute to Pray, A Second to Die. Interesting one, this about mind control, directed by Basil Dearden. This is Dirk Bogarde in The Mindbenders. Tom Cruise in Steven Spielberg's Minority Report. And from director Spike Lee, this is a World War II drama, Miracle at St. Anna. Love this one, Miracle Mile, starring Anthony Edwards and Mara Winningham, and they actually met and married after this film. And Robert Urich in a golfing drama, Miracle on the 17th Green. A classic Christmas story, Miracle on 34th Street, with Maureen O'Hara, Edmund Gwenn, and a young Natalie Wood there. And Bancroft and Patty Duke telling the story of Helen Keller in The Miracle Worker. And a Hitchcockian thriller directed by Edward Dmytryk. This is Gregory Peck in Mirage. Written by Neil Gaiman and with effects provided by Jim Henson's company, this is Mirror Mask. And Kiefer Sutherland in Mirrors, directed by Alexandra Aja. Kathy Bates hobbling James Caan in Stephen King's Misery. And the final film for both Marilyn Monroe and Clark Gable, this is The Misfits. A Russian serial adventure from the 1920s. This is Miss Mend. And Frances McDormand and Amy Adams, Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day. Jack Lemmon and Sissy Spacek in Missing, directed by Costa Gavras. And a western from Ron Howard. This is Tommy Lee Jones and Cate Blanchett in The Missing. Chuck Norris, Missing in Action 2 and 3. And a great movie from Roland Joffe with a beautiful score by Ennio Morricone. This is The Mission with Jeremy Irons and Robert De Niro. Superb action in Mission Impossible Fallout. And really like this one. You can get this through Criterion. This is Denzel Washington and Sarita Chowdhury in Mississippi Masala, directed by Mira Nair. Marlon Brando dresses rather unusually in this western that also stars Jack Nicholson, The Missouri Breaks. A terrific one this from Frank Darabont, adapting Stephen King's The Mist. Melissa Gilbert and Rosanna Arquette in Mistaken Identity, about children being swapped at birth. A classic John Ford comedy with Henry Fonda, James Cagney and Jack Lemmon, Mr. Roberts. Disney's Moana, which I think is getting a live-action remake. And dear oh dear, this is Christian Slater, Costas Mandylor, Patrick Dempsey and Richard Grieco pretending to be mobsters. From the Herman Melville classic, this is Gregory Peck in Moby Dick, directed by John Huston. And Robin Wright and Morgan Freeman in Moll Flanders. Really good performance from Jessica Chastain in Molly's Game, written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. And directed by Azazel Jacobs from 2008, this is Mama's Man. A Frank Perry camp classic, this is Faye Dunaway as Joan Crawford in Mommy Dearest. And Jodie Foster directs George Clooney and Julia Roberts in Money Monster. Haven't watched this yet, but, you know, with this cover and title, I thought I'd give it a go. Mongolian Deathworm. A good one this, directed by Patrice Leconte. This is Monsieur Ear. Charles Chaplin classic, based on an idea by Orson Welles. This is Monsieur Verdoux. And Sigourney Weaver and Felicity Jones in A Monster Calls. Spalding Gray, famous for doing a monologue in Swimming to Cambodia, does another one in Monster in a Box. All the classic monsters come out to play in this one, The Monster Squad, directed by Fred Decker. An early film from Gareth Edwards, Monsters. Disney Pixar's Monsters, Inc. And now for something completely different. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and a few knights who say "Nee." Go away, he's been a very naughty boy. Monty Python's Life of Brian. And just have a wafer thin mint with this one, Monty Python's Meaning of Life. Going from Monty Python to a movie about female circumcision, this is Ousmane Sembène's Moulade. And directed by Duncan Jones, Sam Rockwell in Moon. Great movie from Barry Jenkins, Moonlight. And another one you can get in the Criterion Collection, really good one. This great performance from Cher and Nicolas Cage in Moonstruck, directed by Norman Jewison. A classic with Joel McCrea and Jean Arthur, this is The More the Merrier, directed by George Stevens. And directed by Alan Rudolph, this is Demi Moore in Mortal Thoughts, with a guest performance from Bruce Willis. Great movie this from director Lynn Ramsey, this is Samantha Morton in Morven Collar. And adapted from a John le Carré novel, this is A Most Wanted Man with Philip Seymour Hoffman, directed by Anton Corbijn. Good performance from Harrison Ford in The Mosquito Coast, directed by Peter Weir. And directed by Darren Aronofsky, Jennifer Lawrence in Mother. Ambulance service comedy, directed by Peter Yates and starring Raquel Welch, Bill Cosby and Harvey Keitel, Mother, Jugs and Speed. And Jamie Lee Curtis in a thriller directed by Yves Simoneau, Mother's Boys. Really good one this, directed by Walter Salles and with Gael Garcia Bernal, The Motorcycle Diaries. And Jose Ferrer in John Huston's Moulin Rouge. With Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor in Baz Luhrmann's much more colourful Moulin Rouge. Charlton Heston in The Mountain Men, written by his son Fraser. And Doris Day and James Garner in 60s comedy Move Over, Darling. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie in Doug Liman's Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And Gary Cooper and Jean Arthur in the classic Mr. Deeds Goes to Town, directed by Frank Capra. Okay, I will leave it there, and please do join me again for the next video. Please leave me any comments you have on any of these movies. I do enjoy reading them, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Okay, all the best to you. Bye-bye.